Sometimes I feel like I'm not even alive. Sometimes I feel I'm inside somebody else's mind. Sometimes I feel like I'm not really living. I'm just the fictional world, an artificially intelligent, three-dimensional illusion trapped inside somebody else's head. Sometimes I feel like my existence is a dream inside somebody else's mind. Sometimes I feel like my reality, or at least what seems like reality to me, is really just somebody else's dream. As if a shaman, almost as if a shaman took too much ayahuasca or too much peyote and he fell into this deep sleep, a coma, this REM sleep trance, and I'm just that dream inside the shaman's head, inside the shaman's mind. A shaman that just took way too much ayahuasca and he fell into a coma, and now he's stuck in the longest dream. His own imprisonment came from trying to reach ultimate enlightenment. And now this shaman is trapped. He's stuck inside the longest dream. The longest dream. The longest dream. And sometimes that's what all of this, everything, the birds, the trees, the grass, the bees, the moon, the sun, the heat, the cold, the happiness, the depression. Should I turn left? Should I turn right? Have I done wrong? Have I done right? Should have I done this? Should have I done that? And this constant, constant, infinite, eternal, forever running inside the mind of the comatose shaman who took way too much ayahuasca, took way too much LSD, took way too much peyote, and now I'm stuck inside his mind. The only time the shaman is free from this coma is when I go to sleep. When I go to sleep and I start manifesting and creating my own vivid dreams, that's when the shaman wakes up for a few hours, and although he's immobile, he's paralyzed, he's comatose, his eyes open up, and he's just waiting for me to wake up. The longest dream None of this feels real. None of this feels real anymore. As artificial intelligence grows, and human intelligence shrinks and gets more and more compressed by the day. Everybody's thinking the same thoughts in their brains. Everyone's just thinking the same thoughts in their brains. Everyone's just thinking the same thoughts in their brains. Everyone's just thinking the same thoughts in their brains. Everyone's just thinking the same thoughts in their brains. La la fucking la la di da di da di da la 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 di da di da di da. Oh, the never-ending cycle, the eternal sleep. Welcome to the longest dream. It's a bit mind-boggling to me, at least. It's surreal, the power of the mind. And I can only speak for myself, because I can only live in one vessel at a time. It's mind-boggling and almost surreal how the perceptions within the brain, and when you're caught in a vivid dream, and you can almost create your own dream as it's happening because you have the awareness, you're conscious enough to know that you're dreaming, so you become God and you can create and manifest and warp reality to your liking and to your own pleasures and to your own, on how you want to view the world, how you want to perceive the world. And it's mind-boggling how there's not a difference. When I'm stuck in a vivid dream during REM sleep, I'm constantly telling myself, because a little grain of salt, a little grain of doubt creeps in every now and then, and you're like, or I'm like, there's no way this is a dream. This is way too fucking real. I can see my hand, I can see my scars, I can see my fingernails, I can see the creases in my fucking hand. And I'm just looking around in this dream, and every now and then it's like, okay, this is reality. There's no way this is a dream because it feels far too real. It feels far too real to be a dream. And just go about my business. And every now and then I'll walk up to people and tell them, there's no way this is a dream, or I have to be dreaming, right? That there's no way this is really happening. And then the confusion steps in, and then the doubt starts growing, and then once you start doubting too much, and you come to the epiphany, like, holy shit, this is a dream, or that's almost always when I just wake up in my bed, and I'm kind of like, I kind of mind fuck myself, and I wake up in bed, and sometimes I'm actually scared, like I'm scared and kind of spooked out, creeped out, how 10 seconds ago I was convinced that was reality. I was convinced that was this waking world. I'll wake up in bed, look around, I usually smile and I grin, and I'm just like, that was a fucking trip. How does that happen? How does that happen? And I usually lay in bed for a few minutes, just mind boggled out of my fucking skull, and it's just sometimes it is scary. It's like if I could go back, if I could step back those 30 seconds in time and be in that dream world, I'd make $1 million bet and be like, all right, I'll make $1 million bet. There's no way this is a fucking dream. There's no way this is a fucking dream. I'll make you $1 million bet. And then 30 seconds later, I wake up in my fucking bed and it's like, what the fuck? That was. It is a bit scary, frightening. The power of the mind. How when your eyes are closed and you fall into a state of REM sleep, or some people, just the people that can vivid dream. It's not like I can do it every single night and I can do it I can do it on command. It doesn't work that way. But I know there's some people who just never dream and they're like, oh, the last dream I had, I was 9 years old and I was at Six Flags or I was at Chuck E. Cheese or whatever the fuck. They're like, ever since then, it's been 20 years and I don't have dreams. It's just all black. Well, it sucks to be you, buddy. But it is a bit frightening and mind-boggling how in certain states of REM sleep, when your eyes are closed, and in the real world, you have no idea what the fuck. I mean, you're asleep. You're pretty much comatose. You're temporarily comatose when you're asleep. It is a bit frightening how, for some people, when you're in those deep states of REM sleep and you start vivid dreaming, it is kind of, I don't want to say miraculous. Ooh! Living is just so miraculous. Oh my god, yay! I want to have dozens and dozens of babies now because life is so miraculous and beautiful. The end. But it's amazing. The power of the mind. How, again, how when I'm stuck in these stages of REM sleep, there is not a difference. There's not one mother fucking difference between the real world, the waking world, and the REM sleep, deep sleep world. To the brain, it's identical. It's the exact same fucking thing. It is 100% identical, motherfucking cool. It's identical. And I think the older I get, and because of these increasing vivid dreams that happen more and more often, it's making me more and more spiritual as a person, as a humanoid on this planet. And I'm sure most of you have the wits and the knowledge to know that spirituality, and religion are not the same thing. They are not the same thing. You can be spiritual and not believe in Jesus Christ and the parting of the Red Sea and the Revelations, and you're gonna end up in hell and hellfire and all that stupid fucking retarded bullshit. Um, you can believe in God. That's the thing about human beings. We all believe in God or the lack of God, but we don't really worship the same God, or we don't worship God in the same way. The God I believe in, and the God the millions and millions and millions of other people believe in, we might believe in the same principle of the word God, but we don't worship the same God. We don't worship the God in the same ways. And that's fine. That's perfectly okay. Everybody's always going to have their different levels of understanding, their different levels of interpretation, their different levels of rationalization, their different levels of what works and what doesn't. When it comes to believing in a higher force or a higher dimension or a higher reality, whatever you want to call it. But all in all, to wrap it up, these increasing reoccurrences of vivid dreaming and REM sleep are fucking with my head because they're happening a lot more often now. They're starting to fuck with my head, and it is beautiful though. It is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to know that while you're sleeping, there's no difference between the waking world and the dream world, if that's what if that's how your brain is interpreting your thoughts, your perceptions, your beliefs, your emotions, and your feelings. Inside the brain, within the mind, there's there's no difference. So that's why at times I'm convinced that all of this, everything around me right now, it doesn't even exist. Like I'm just the fucking my reality is just a dream inside someone else's head. And they've been asleep for 34, 35 years already. And I'm stuck in there. Stuck in there until I'm stuck in the dream until my dreamer dies. And that's when I disappear and reappear often to reincarnate into something else. Back into the dirt, part of a tree, producing oxygen for living beings on a different planet, in a different world, in a different multiverse, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. So none of this is real. We're all just a dream inside the shaman's head who took way too much ayahuasca. The longest dream.